It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you're liking us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are currently watching us live and in living color and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification. That way you'll never miss a live or pre-recorded moment of Dishin Days. And if you are traveling in traffic or taking a road trip or you're pumping it up in the gym and need to find out what happened this week on Days, you can take us along with you on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, make sure you buy our merch. That's right. We got merchandise, everybody. Check out these lovely things here. That we have. You can get a t-shirt, mug, notebook, sticker, anything that lets people know that you are a #1 true fan of Dishin Days. Head on over to dishindays.threadless.com and get your threads today. Also, make sure you show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Lott Jr., who was doing all things soaps over at JLJ Media on YouTube and on your favorite podcast stations. He has your full update of Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and some original audio dramas, taking it back to the days where soap operas were on radio and when James used to write out his scripts in cave drawings. So make sure you follow him over at JLJ Media on YouTube right now. He is going to hate that so much. I actually told him this morning, we were talking about Thanksgiving, and I was like, weren't you at the first one?
I think he's in the chat. He was earlier, at least.
I think he was in the chat, yeah.
He probably is. Listening, he'll say something in a second. Well, hi, everyone.
What it was Big Friday at Big.
What?
It was Black Friday at Big Lots, so he had to head out the door.
There he is.
Why? Because it's black?
No, because he's always at Big Lots.
I know.
That's true.
This is very true. Oh, there he is, JLJ Media.
I said good day.
I said good day, sir. Well, what did we think of this week's episodes of Days?
It was a decent week.
There was one in particular that we universally did not care for. We'll talk about that, but yeah. I thought it was a pretty good week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a decent week. We had some interesting things happen. Yeah.
In the words of RuPaul, meh.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't overly exciting, but it also wasn't, painful to watch or anything.
Nah, not at all.
Nah.
Well, one day.
Again, one day we were like,
Maybe 1.5 days.
Well, it sounds like we got a lot of to talk about. So let's break it on down, everybody, shall we? It is now time to start Dishin Days. Oh, close enough. All right. Let's kick things off with our very first storyline with. Did you hear about Lee Shin?
Oh. Those two episodes with him and Marlena really endeared that character to me.
Yeah.
He really showed. Remington did a phenomenal job of just his nuances and his performance of like giving us the background of why Lee Shin is the way he is. And he wanted it goes back to, he wanted so badly to like be able to play with the big boys and to be like devious and everything. It's just not in his nature. he's a good guy, and he's bad at being bad. You know what I mean? And so then for me, when it came around, we had those 2 episodes, and I feel like this was very strategic. They had those 2 episodes to endear Lee to us, and then to have Gabi and Stefan like do that whole fake out. It's almost just as bad as what they were trying to do to Kristen and Rachel. Almost as bad.
Mhm.
But it just was like, you 2 are assholes. Like, I'm not I'm for you 0%. I hope you get your shares. I hope the company fails, and I hope you go bankrupt. That, like, period. And that's and then Gabi faked Lee out, and then he went all. And I was like, no, don't go to that side again. Come on. But
I feel like he
could. And we don't know what happened when, between how he ended up on the floor and all that. We don't know that yet.
A few hours later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Later. So that's what happened, because I swear I looked up and I was like, when did Gabi get to?
It was like
it was literally one of those like time, like there's a block of time that is not accounted for.
I feel like Lee, his whole life, could not live up to the expectations of mainly his father. I think he continuously didn't want to be a disappointment to his dad. And I feel like that the story of, I think her name was Shay Shin, his first love, put a lot of things into perspective, that in love and business, he could not be the apple of his father's eye. And I think that's why he kind of went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But the thing that's so disheartening is that, like, they made him cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I feel like they didn't have to do Lee. Like, he could have just left Salem. I mean, there's just so many ways to not make the character, because it reminds me of what they did to Aiden. Aiden didn't have to go like crazy all of a sudden. Like, I don't know. It's just because we wanted to see more of Lee Shin. Like, when he used to pop in for like the business meetings and stuff, we were like, "Ooh, expand on this character." And then when they did, it's just kind of like,
I was all on board with him, the reveal of him, knowing Stefan was alive and him conspiring with the others. But then after that blew up, I feel like they could keep Lee around. They brought his sister, onto the canvas for him to have a family member and for her to get into her own mess. But I really wanted them to like redeem him and be like, to redeem himself and to still be around, but to be a player in the game, just not try to go so far into it. Like, find another way for him to stand up to the Demiras, rather, but that's not as, trying to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to anybody.
I almost would have loved if he just ended up like over Demira and continuously see them scrambling to regain power in Demira. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's such a likable character, and I feel like they could have done. I mean, I was liking Melinda and Lee together. That could have been another dynamic duo that we didn't see coming, but it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense, Yeah.
This week did 2 things with ushering out 2 different characters. By delving into Lee's backstory, it made it really bittersweet to lose him. And obviously we're going to go into this whole murder investigation now, and that's going to be really stressful, and there's going to be questions with Gabi now being involved. But this week she basically solidified her place in the at least in my mind, I'm not sure about the rest of our audiences, in that I don't care what happens to you anymore.
Nope,
Can't.
she's on my shit list. Like her and Stefan too. Stefan, I'm like, you're both on my shit list now. I don't give a. As I said, get your shares, start running the company. I hope you run it into the ground, and I hope you all get thrown out on the street.
Bridges too far. There are it's like they crossed every line, like way too far.
And like I said last week, there's like respectable. What did I say? Like villainy. Respectable villainy, and then there's this bull crap, and it's
bull duty.
They're just nasty people.
Because one of the things that Stefano DiMera would never, ever, ever, ever have done would have betray his own children like that. Stefano, every single illegitimate child, adopted child, whatever child he had, he brought them into the family fold. It was a source of desperation for him, where it's like no matter what wrong he did, he was always like, "But we're family." You know,
he would like. I would. I definitely wouldn't put it past Stefano to betray his family.
Not in the way of potentially like threatening to lose them.
Oh no, not in that way.
Not in that way. He would never ever have crossed that line with Kristen. He adored Kristen.
No. Absolutely not. No.
You guys, I was completely fooled. I had no idea Remington was leaving. So I thought, like, when seeing those scenes with Marlena, I thought, like, oh, this is, like, interesting. A weird sort of path for him to go down.
We just saw him.
And I thought it was, I thought they were, like, opening up this brand new storyline for Lee. And I thought it was going to go into something else. I don't know about you guys, but I thought the girlfriend was coming back. Because they kept bringing her up. So that's who I thought Stefan was bringing back. I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're like going to weave someone else into this mix and get Lee. So I was completely like taken aback by that and fooled. I feel like it's not a great way to kill him off. I think he has so much potential. Even if you didn't have storyline plans for him, he's one of those characters send away for a while and then bring back in a different capacity. Or bring him back to another motive for agency. But I do want to say, I don't, as much as I hate Gabi and Stefan at the moment, I actually don't mind them screwing him over because he did try to kill Stefan. So I can't blame them for that part of it. It's like, you know what, you deserve that, Lee. You deserve
that. You know what, I would normally agree with you, but I think it's still the effect of seeing what they did last, to Kristen, or what they tried to do to Kristen. So now it's like, in my eyes, anything they do, they're world-class assholes.
Yeah, the stuff to him I didn't mind.
Michael Mattis, don't be uncouth.
Sorry, my bad. I know I've dropped if we had a swear jar, it would be full right now. But
well, Mick Floyd just added to our jar. Thank you so much. He says the writers are legit sabotaging Gabi's character because she's leaving. I wouldn't say sabotaging. I would say maybe they had to quickly get rid of her because she wasn't going to come back. So it's not like they could have said, "Hey." Only assuming, because I don't know, but I mean, I'm smart. I'm just, thinking. Maybe they had to figure out a way to kind of wrap that up real quick, and have a legitimate reason to have her exit stage left. However, they're gonna do that. I feel a couple of things. I feel like Stefan and Gabi were going too hard for the DiMera shares. I thought it was a little too controlling. I thought it was. These plans were a little too fast and very icky, as we talked about last week. And it was also just kind of like, why is everyone so desperately trying to be in control of a company that's tanking because everyone is trying to be in control? At some point, like,
it's a pissing contest.
I felt like the limit was when EJ and Stefan were trying to drug each other. I think that's a moment where it's kind of like, okay, you know what, truce, like we're gonna wave the white flag, but then we're just gonna keep going. So I think it's that, but Yeah, it was. I have a theory um, as to what will transpire. I'll see if it happens next week. But I was a big advocate for more Lee Shin. I think Remington played him extremely well, and I thought that he would be a great addition to Salem and to the mix of everything. I don't know. Well, Me World, thank you for your contribution. Potential storyline: bring Shang to Salem for an Emily Thorne style revenge storyline with her against Mr. Shin and Gabi and Stefan. Justice for Lee, but then again, I'm not a writer. Well, neither are we.
That was a good show, though.
That was a good. Well, season 1 and then season 3-ish.
Oh, is that ABC's Revenge?
Yeah.
Yes.
ABC's Revenge with Madeline Stowe.
Yes.
Brought her out of the woodwork. Threw her right back. Anyway.
Yeah, it's now I will say during this, I like the dynamic between EJ and Nicole. Because I love the fact that Nicole was like, why are we worried about this? And also like, you know, really calling EJ out on this. This is why I love EJ and Nicole together. Is because
go ahead, sorry.
It's just because Nicole and EJ know each other so well that it's like Nicole looks at him and go, do you think I fell off the turnip truck last week? Like, I know you. Talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, I just love their dynamic. What were you going to say, Michael Mattis?
No, thank you, Mick Floyd, for your $10. And he says, I'm sick of the musical chairs at Demira. EJ should be in charge and more scene of Dan in his boxers. How about Carson in the sweatpants, too? I'll give $10 for that. Anyway, what I was going to say was that, you know who could learn a lesson from the Nicole and EJ dynamic? Our friend Sarah Horton. Because when I see Nicole and EJ, it's a similar circumstances. EJ is doing stuff, that Nicole doesn't agree with, but Nicole isn't being judgy about it. And granted, I think Nicole and EJ have a longer, richer history than Sarah and Xander. But the part of what bugs me about the Sarah Xander dynamic is that she knows, but she constantly judges him, and that's what annoys me about it. Nicole and EJ, she doesn't like it, but she calls him out on it in a non-judgmental way, and that's what I like about their dynamic. Because she's the way she looks at him is just like, come on, dude, come on.
Yeah. And this was always my annoyance with making Nicole's miracle baby Eric's, saying that Eric and Nicole were this destined couple. And I was like, okay, maybe they are. But here's the problem. You're putting them in this position where they both conveniently forget the reasons why their marriage fell apart. You're making it as if Nicole was the bad guy when really Eric abandoned her. He abandoned her for close to a year, the entire first year of their marriage. She was left. She thought she was going to get a co-parent. That didn't happen. She had to hold down the fort by herself. And then when she gets stressed and makes a mistake, he acts holier than thou. Because he's Eric Brady, and apparently he can act that way about everything, even though he's the one who made the mistake. And repeatedly, ever since then, it's always been, every time they've gotten close, there's always been a reason for Nicole to be the bad guy.
Right.
And it's like, now all of a sudden you're conveniently forgetting all of that.
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of Nicole and EJ stands, and I live for it.
Yeah.
But the show, we saw it this week. Now both Eric and Nicole are, again, realizing, they may not be over each other. So what are we going to do? We're going to jump into marriages with other people. And it's like, Nicole, you just did this. with Rafe, what, like a year or so ago?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying
God.
like, oh, I'm not saying I'm not down with EJ and Nicole, because again, I do think they have like the mutual respect going on, and you know, no judgment between them. But it's clear the show just is gonna throw this Eric Nicole over here just forever, and it's just it's starting to get
Because
repetition.
that's what the fans want.
What fans? Because our audience, our audience at least, clearly sees things as they are.
We are a small percentage of the people, but I have been rooting for EJ and Nicole. And listen, I understand that this is a fictional drama, but when I tell you I prayed that baby was EJ's, I prayed. I asked the Lord, make Nicole's babies EJ's. I asked the Lord. The Lord was probably like, who is Nicole and EJ?
That's why it didn't happen.
That's why it didn't happen, because he was going through all the disciples asking them, Nicole and EJ, who's a Nicole and EJ? Do we have a foul on them? Nicole and EJ, who are those people? Do we have a Nicole that's pregnant by an EJ? Anyway, we'll get back to them, but one thing, going back to Lee, what happened?
No, I'm like, I don't know where we are, because we're talking about like.
Oh yeah, they did like, but the thing is, this week there was a lot of like
was dipping and dabbing.
Yeah,
yeah. I wanted to point out just the beautiful, heart-wrenching though speech voicemail that Wendy left Lee as she unknowingly was, while he was like laying on the ground, like she was saying all that and just encouraging him and being such a great sister, and you know, and then it just kind of like she's leaving this beautiful voicemail, and then it just pans to him on the floor, face down.
Except, can I just say that it's just what I kind of wish that this had aired before Day of Days, because all I want to do now is ask Remington Hoffman, why, when you split out on the floor like that, is your nose like this? Like, most actors make the choice of like, if you're going to be dead on the floor, you know, splay yourself out, make yourself at least somewhat in a comfortable position, or at least so you can breathe. But his nose is like this,
like right up against the floor. I don't know.
That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, can he breathe?
You know, if it were me, knowing me, I would have tried to serve laying on that floor. Like it would have panned to me, and I would have been like, dead.
Or like a shocked with your eyes open, if you're like the kind of actor who can do that. But I
would have given you eyes closed.
Yeah, like you have to lay in that position for a while.
Okay, I gotta say, I did get a little bit of a kick out of like Marlena not worrying about him committing crimes and just like hand waving it off. I was like, Marlena, you're the worst therapist ever. Just like, and then you said they conveniently made up the whole like, if it's in the past, I don't have to say anything. And I was like, that's not really how it works, Marlena. But okay, we'll go along with that.
I feel like Marlena was picking up a lot of things regarding, you know, Lee. I think she was just like learning about him, but also picking up a lot of things in the session, which I think is what sparked that phone call once she got home, just to be like, yeah, you know, I just want to remind you, we still got a lot of
you're not done yet.
A lot of
you ain't cured.
And you know, and you could tell like there were times where she was just like, it's gonna be a lot of work. So we ain't even scratched the surface yet. She ain't even been able to scratch and sniff nothing. Like she's just, you know, just barely scratching.
I do really feel like Deidre Hall has really honed in her psychiatrist craft because just that simple line of, and how does that make you feel? Like, you can see in, various shows and stuff, a psychiatrist that will ask you that question. There are some that ask that question and it's like, dude, you are annoying. Like, I want to smack you in the face. But she asked that question and I'm like, she genuinely wants to know how that makes me feel.
She's got that part of it down. That I do agree. Like, that part of being a psychiatrist and not leading people, but making them talk to you, she's got down. I just sort of got a kick out of that. She sort of hand waved the crime away. She's like, oh, I don't need to call the police. It happened in the past. I was like, no, that's not how it works, but okay.
Do you ever wonder, like, in the real world, do they hone in on their characters? So, like, can you imagine talking to Deidre Hall and, like, one of her friends is just venting and, just slipping in? She's like, so how did that make you feel?
I wonder if she does it like it doesn't really. She's like, so how did that make you? She's like, oh, wait, no.
Right.
It's just like, girl, I know, that she'd like.
I actually remember asking her that in our interview, and she very emphatically was like, I actually thought she was going to give like a sort of, I thought she was going to give sort of a like detailed, heartfelt message, like she's the person her friends go to, and she very emphatically, go watch the interview, it's still up. She was like, no. She was like, no, I'm not that person. I was like, oh, okay, moving on. The next question then. But no.
Okay, so quick story. One time I was hosting a fan event, and Sean Christian, ex Daniel Jonas, was there. And I will never forget this. So a fan kind of fainted or did something that you felt like needed some sort of medical attention. And I remember seeing Sean Christian kind of swoop in like Dr. Daniel Jonas. And there was a moment where I went, sir, you play a doctor on TV. What are you about to do? But I'm sure that's just him as a person wanting to swoop in and help.
Yeah.
But me, for a second, I was like, now, listen, you are not Dr. Daniel Jonas.
Yeah, no, it just depends on the person. I mean, the entire cast of ER has had to explain for years after they left that show, for years after that show was gone, that they continuously still had to explain to people whenever there was a medical emergency around, we're not actual doctors.
Oh boy. Okay, sorry, back to Days. I believe that's pretty much it with that storyline, and it has opened the door to a mystery of what had happened to Li Shin. So, I mean, I have a prediction. Do you all have a prediction as to what had happened to Li Shin?
I do, just because there were some little tidbits. I don't want to talk about it just yet. I want to wait to see how the week plays out. But
remember it, lock it in, store it. Michael, you have one?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing how things unfolded the last part of the show, and whenever this happens, you're always kind of questioning if what we're seeing is what really happened, especially since we don't know, we didn't see what happened. Yeah, I mean, I have a general idea.
Justin, you got something too?
Kind of. Nothing concrete.
Nothing fully developed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we now know who the Daphne of the group is. So I'm just kidding. That does not make me Scooby though. Although I do like snacks.
You're Velma.
Anyway.
Oh.
I like Velma. Velma's cute.
Is Velma the cool one? I don't remember. I don't know.
Velma's the smart one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched Scooby-Doo in a hot minute, so
yeah.
I don't even know where to watch Scooby-Doo.
Probably Hulu or something.
Mm-hmm.
Max. All right. Well, let's move on to our next storyline, which is, hey, let's have not one but two ill-advised weddings.
I just love that's the solution to people when they see someone that they still have feelings for get married. They're like, you know what I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna get
married too. And then it baffled me that like after they got married and they were on the couch and she was like, I just want to make sure. Are you having second thoughts? Blah blah blah. I'm like, it's done.
Now is the time to ask if you're having second thought.
Now a question.
Now a warning.
I was just like, this is just.
Okay, we know Sloane is lying and stuff, but I'm officially over Roman. I'm officially over Marlena. I'm over Brady hating on Sloane. I'm over. We know that she's kind of up to something, but it's like they don't know that. They're still hating on her for like the brother stuff, the Paulina stuff. It's like, get over that. Like, I don't know.
Well, listen, I think as parents, when you feel like someone isn't right for your child, that doesn't necessarily go away. You know, they're going to respect his decision, which Marlena reluctantly did by officiating the wedding, because he was like, I would really like for you to officiate. And she did the, if I must.
I think it's funny. Sloane is, out of all of the people their children have dated outside of like a Jada or something, Sloane is probably pretty low on the spectrum in terms of like people who've done horrible things. You know what I mean?
That they know of.
Well, but she's still pretty low on the. It's like, I mean, listen, I love Nicole, but she's 10 times worse than anything.
Ooh, child, talk about a laundry list of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're actively rooting for him and Nicole because you know they have feelings for each other, but you know, Sloane is a much better character than Nicole in terms of like deeds. I'm saying in terms of like being sneaky and doing underhanded things. Nicole's rap sheet is 20 times longer than anything Sloane's done, and they don't. She's
also that I mean, Sloane's only been on the show for a year and a half.
Yeah,
he only has a year and a half of time to misdeeds, and Nicole has 20 years. But
like, yeah. I mean, Roman couldn't even put on a jacket. He literally showed up in like his t-shirt.
I feel like they called Josh Taylor and they were like, "Yo, are you free? We need you in this scene.
I know.
Just come over now. Wear whatever. Just come over."
That? Like, did he accidentally stop by? And then they were like, "We're getting married." Like, really, Roman? You couldn't put on a jacket for your son's wedding?
Well, what if they just said, "Hey, can you head over to Marlena's really quick for something important?" And he just left, and then it's like, it's a wedding.
That's fine. It just wasn't explained that way. He was just there, and it kind of implied that he knew what was.
Although,
like he was in the pub, like.
Although, if he needed a jacket, I mean, I'm sure John got one.
Something.
He could have just borrowed. He could have borrowed one of Marlena's blazers.
This is true.
Jesus.
You know she has every color.
Yeah. Look, I don't need an explanation. These are two, as we said, ill-advised weddings. And the only other thing I have to add to this conversation is I liked Sloane's dress, non-traditional as it was. It was cute.
Yeah.
I did not like Nicole's dress at all. And that's all I got.
She's pregnant.
It has nothing to do with her being pregnant. I didn't like the cut.
I kind of liked it.
I didn't like the cut.
I didn't mind Nicole's dress. And you know, in terms of Sloane's, at first I was like, oh, that's what she's wearing to her wedding. But we just went through a pandemic. Be in your comfort era. It's cute. It's even cute. At a wedding.
It's elegant but wedding. Cute. I would consider it more like a reception dress.
Who?
If that's what you wanted to. Sloane's dress. Like, it would count as like a cute reception dress if you could pull it off
for
like
the
that.
bride.
Yes, yeah, brides. Yeah, most brides these days actually will have your big, huge hoopla ceremony dress, and then your cute, slinky little reception dress that you don't have to. That doesn't weigh a ton when you're walking with it. By the way, sweetie, doesn't she run a work in fashion? You couldn't find a better maternity dress? This is my sticking point.
At Basic Black?
Yes.
I mean, listen, it was fine. It was comfortable. It's like a nice slip white dress. She's pregnant, she had to consider
wear
that
out there these days.
I mean, listen, on a short notice, that's all, Jane's dress shop had in Horton Town Square. And then as far as Sloane, Sloane. I always say Salome, but it's Sloane. Sorry, y'all. as far as Sloane, she's a beautiful woman.
Don't know where you going with this.
And
It
that's
just
all
seemed
you got.
like, I mean, it just seemed like, you know, when she walked in, you know, it's like, I was like, oh, wow, she looks great. But, you know, then when you think about it, it's like wedding guest, you know, or bridesmaid, not necessarily bride. I wonder why she went with purple instead. Like, there was a lot of things that weren't explained.
It's
Like, why
pink.
purple?
It was pink.
It was purple.
It was pink.
Wasn't it
It's
purple?
like a pink
I
purple.
thought it was like
It
a
was
lavender, yeah,
It
purple.
was a fuchsia.
A lavender. It was given in the purple family.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen.
I thought it
wear
was
what you
nice.
wanna
I
wear.
liked,
I mean,
yeah.
the dress itself, her in it looked amazing.
It made sense. Like
It's
she
the
wouldn't have had a
lighting. It was
wedding
pink.
dress in her closet. Like it made sense for a 2-hour notice to like go and pick out this
Yeah.
dress from your closet or something. And also I think the point was to show a contrast between what Nicole was wearing and what she would wear.
It would have been so funny though to have
Easter whore. Oh my god.
What? No.
I hate
Oh,
the
you know what I just
I hate the
realized?
internet so much.
Nicole's, the dress Nicole wore is actually very similar to the dress she wore when she first married EJ all those years ago, and I didn't like that one either. I hated it.
Maybe that's what they were going for to like.
Okay, so you know what? Okay, okay. I'm gonna remind myself. I'm gonna try to find pictures of the dress, and I'm gonna ask the fans, which dress did they like better? Which is the better wedding dress? Okay, I have to remember that. Make sure you guys go to our Instagram and vote later on after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a little bit so that I can get it all together. But I don't. Sometimes I hop on here and don't realize what we're going to spend time on. We spent time on them dresses.
Mm-hmm.
We really
It's
did.
pink. It was just the lighting that made it look purple.
So then it's purple.
No, Soap She Knows has a really good, clear picture of Eric and Sloane, and it is baby pink. It was just the lighting that made it look purple in certain scenes.
I'm going to look because it was given very purple.
It was pink.
Lavender.
It was
Purple
pink.
family. Purple people eater.
It was Barbie pink.
It definitely wasn't Barbie pink.
Well, not pink.
Can we talk about Holly?
Oh, okay.
First of all,
Rule number
what happened to her green dress that she was supposed to wear?
I feel like we would like the green dress. Here's the thing.
She wanted
Number
to
one
show
rule
off
about-
of Johnny.
It was okay. Number one rule about lying: don't make the lie cringier than the actual truth.
Yeah.
Like people keep wanting to say that she's going to be another Sammy. Mm-mm.
Oh
No, Sammy lies better than that. I've seen that they're like, oh, like they're trying to make her another Sammy. Mm-mm.
Sammy
Sammy
can
would-
lie while eating breakfast upside down. That's how good at lying Sammy is.
And it would be a good non-cringy lie. Not I want to.
Yes.
Not I have a crush on EJ. I was just like,
How the-
what?
I mean, seriously, go back to the 90s. Look at how Sammy used to talk back then. It wasn't just how she lied. It was her tone. It was she very, very good at playing but I'm just a young girl and I was just in love bit. No, this is not that.
Like I wish that she had just said, just a boy in Salem that I know.
Keep it vague. Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, like not your dad.
Ugh.
It's like
I was like, what?
I thought she was gonna say Tate and then like use that as an excuse to always be hanging with Tate. Like, I thought that would feed into that, but
that would have been the smarter lie.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is Tate has made his feelings for Holly very clear. So for her to have a crush on Tate, it would kind of be like, but he likes you. What's the problem?
Oh,
But,
I see.
Well, I don't know if does Johnny know that?
Yeah.
No, the only reason that she couldn't say that was because he had already overheard Johnny telling Eric that Holly was in love with an older guy.
That's right. He heard it from Tate. That's true.
But she still could have made it very vague.
Yeah, you could have said anyone. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you who is not here for it. Chanel. Because when Holly says stuff, Chanel always goes,
she's piecing it together now. Yeah. Like
but you can tell immediately that she's like, I got your number, hussy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Notice how she was sitting farther away from them. She didn't pull that trick again. When they came back from the couch. Yeah, she was at the far end and they were together on the complete other end. I was like, okay. I have a feeling Chanel stepped in here and like.
Yeah. I predict sooner rather than later we're going to get a scene with Chanel and Holly saying, listen, little girl. We're going to get that scene sooner rather than later.
Raven, if you are listening to this, if you ever have a confrontation with Holly and the line is little girl, please say it in the way of Miriam Cosby from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and go, little girl.
Little girl.
I would love that. Someone in the chat just said, Holly could have said Hareld.
Oh, God.
Not Hareld.
Yeah.
She could have said Chad and it would have been more believable.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have just said nobody and just said this guy that y'all don't need to worry about. Get out my business. I'm a teen. I'm grown. Okay. You got Chanel. Worry about Chanel. Don't be all up in my business.
Chanel, who's randomly visiting Lonnie in prison.
She visits her.
Huh?
She can visit her from time to time.
I just didn't expect that to be it was nice to have a mention of reminding us that Lonnie is unjustly in prison, but I just figured like you would think the excuse was like, oh yeah, she had an emergency at the bakery or blah blah blah. I just felt it was an interesting choice it was kind of random, but I was like, oh,
well, if she was at the bakery, she still would have dropped everything to be there.
Or she would have had someone cover her. Been like, whoo, sorry, bakery stuff solved. I'm here now. Because Horton Town Square ain't nothing but 2 steps away from the Kiriakis, Demera, and Horton House. So it's like you can go the back way, Horton House, go to the side, Demera's, go to the other side, Kiriakis. And then everybody live at Salem Inn. So there's that. Annette said, I wanted to be invited to the EJ and Nicole wedding. I wanted some pigs in a blanket and some sliders. Oh, they did have good food there.
Yes.
Now that's
how EJ's in love and Nicole's pregnant.
Yeah.
Sliders and pigs in a blanket. Like EJ is in love. Yeah.
Pigs in blankets?
Yes.
Pigs in blanket.
I'm glad they explained that, like, oh yeah, it's Nicole and her pregnancy cravings. Because that wedding would not have had
that's what I'm saying.
Sliders and pigs in blankets.
Yeah, he would not.
So they had to what do I say? Give context to those selections.
Those choices.
For future reference, anybody planning a wedding, you will be judged on your food.
Oh, you know what? John Del Rey brings up a good point. Holly still gives me crazy original Claire vibes. That's interesting.
She gives me more Sierra Chad, crush on Chad vibes, I say.
Ooh, that was why'd you have to bring that up?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, that was just as cringe as this is.
Yeah, file that in chapters I really want to forget ever happened.
Sierra, then.
Now it makes sense why out of all the movies they were watching, it was Clueless, because now they're going I see what you did now.
There's a parallel.
Yeah, I see what you did now.
Sister.
Wait, I love Josh. All right. Well, anyway. Well, they married each other. It's fine. Everyone's fine. Everyone wore the dresses that they wore. Everyone said the I do's.
Everyone ate the pigs
fine.
in blankets.
They ate the pigs in the blanket.
Actually, no, we did not see anybody eating any kind of food. We just heard about it.
But I will say, I liked what Nicole said to Chad about EJ, though, about, like, honestly, she was, of course, like, hinting at the Eric feelings, but I thought, like, what she said about had some validity about, like, letting it go. And it was like, okay, we know you're probably not doing that, but it was nice to be like, okay, you're in this for real, it seems. And yes, the baby, I'm sure, is a big factor, but yeah, there's still some actual feelings there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to not the old I was in a coma defense. Talking about the newly Salem resident Everett.
Not Nick.
No, okay. Can I
Like
say something? I don't. Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I love Blake Berris. Blake Berris is amazing. He's talented. We love when people get a chance to work. However, comma. I just wonder why. I'm trying to be so nice. It's because it's not him. I just wonder why, like, out of all the potential actors in LA that could play this part, why recast someone that, I mean, we literally just saw as his character come back as someone new. And I was going through my mind, you know, some of the people who have done that. You know, obviously, Brandon Barash was Stefan, and then he was Jake, and then now he's back as Stefan. You know, Judy Evans was Adrian, and then Bonnie. You know, Marlene, Deidre Hall as Marlena and Hattie. Like, you know, there's all these different things, right? But I don't know. I think there was a moment where I think I really wanted Everett to be someone new. And I think also maybe with a lot of the recent cast and stuff, it's very jarring to always remember, okay, they're not this person anymore, and now they're this person.
Especially when we just had one 2 weeks ago.
Yes, when we had, you know, Emily leave as Gwen and come back as Teresa. When we had the short recast of Eric, of Greg Vaughn when he had to be out, and then Jason came in and played. Like there, I feel like maybe that's why. Maybe it's so back to back that it's just kind of like, I really wish we had just someone new, because it also feels like this could potentially be the same type of character as Nick Fallon. So I don't know. I y'all know I love Days. Y'all know I'm a fan first. Y'all know I will go hard for the show. I want people to work. There was just a moment where I was just like,
I get the feeling it's like not buyer's remorse, but I feel like they took a swing in order to kill his character and what that storyline brought. And I think they got so much mileage out of the character of Nick Fallon, especially those last couple years when they had him come out of prison and they changed him from the character he was previously on the show. I think they took a gamble and they got what they wanted out of it. But I also think there's a lot of regret there, because they have consistently brought Blake back throughout the years for these little one-off, whether it's the devil storyline, whether it's a Halloween episode, whether it's we want to scare Gabi or do something like that, or we want to give a little mention to Nick so he shows up in a memory, something like that. They've done that consistently with him. And I think because they did the little arc with him in heaven as like the devil's pawn, basically, I think to me, when he was on set, that's when they said, we need this guy back. We're already doing these other two things. Maybe they saw, I'm assuming the Emily stuff, of course, that wasn't in play there because that was so long ago. But I think the Rob Wilson stuff was either in play or going to happen. So I felt like they probably got the idea.
I forgot about that too.
This is the way for us we can get him back. We're doing it now with Rob, or we just did it with Rob. Either way, let's do this with Blake. And I think it's a way for them to sort of have their cake and eat it too.
It's just
Tony. He's giving me Nick vibes. I actually do like the fact that they're doing this whole like he was in a coma thing. So we're getting this kind of like, okay, we can't blame him too much. But then there's also, from what we know from the previews, he's connected to another character, and that may not be so nice. So it's like, okay, are we getting Nick 2.0 here? So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, one of my first thoughts was we've seen characters in a coma, but we've never had a new character come up and say, I was in a coma. Just freely admit that.
I mean, not because him getting hit at the post office and then end up in a coma. And
because it sounds so far-fetched.
Without his wallet and his phone got destroyed. I mean, what are the odds?
Yeah. Like, it kind of sounds so far-fetched that it sounds believable, or the reverse. But either way, it's good. I do love Blake Berris. I'm very interested to see. I feel like we have just scratched the surface of this new character. We needed someone to fill that void at the Spectator, obviously, because that's kind of like a standing workplace, and it's kind of one person exits, another person exits, and then the main people who started it have left the show. So it's kind of like, okay, this can be a different route that we go down with this character who has no connection to Nick Fallon except for that cute little meet cute with him and Gabi.
Oh God!
I know you hated it.
I immediately thought of you when I saw that. I'm like, Michael screaming in his.
I know. As soon as they bumped into each other, I'm like, here it is. Found the bullshit. Here it is.
But I also think it established that he is not in no way, shape, or form Nick.
Yeah.
I think I know it's
so many other ways they could have found to establish that, but
I know it's a typical tongue in cheek, but I think that was a way of being like, you look familiar. I don't know you, and then carrying on, and that's them saying, I get. Y'all think he's Nick Fallon because even the way they played it before we even knew his name, it was just kind of like, "What are you, Nick?" And then it was like, "Oh, yeah." And so I don't know. It's just I feel bad for having that thought of like, can we just get somebody new? But I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Well, in your
I agree though. I agree.
It's because of what they've done in the past, but unfortunately there's some of these things are unrelated to each other. Some of these things happen through circumstances, some of these recasts. It's just because we're having like back to back at this point, but they were unrelated. Now I'm all for bringing Blake Berris back in any capacity. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it hasn't hit for me yet, but I'm willing to go along with it as long as, like, if we have a scene where he runs into Julie,
I know,
and he says something, and Julie, I'm done. Not really, but I'm done.
Julie flips out. Nick, I'm like, oh.
Or if you're gonna do that, do something creative with it. I felt like
or just don't do it.
Or don't do it, or do it in a different way where it's not like so obvious and tongue in cheek. Maybe it's just a look, or maybe it's a saying, or I don't know. Like, yeah, I do think we are probably.
I just want to put out to the writing staff: if tongue in cheek appears in a script in a not in dialogue, but in but remove it. Michael Mattis says no more.
Oh, before I forget, sorry.
I'm just going to do it more, but...
This goes back to the Sloan thing. I don't know if you guys caught her middle name.
Yeah.
Which I actually texted Ron about it. I thought that was cute. I thought that was a cute thing. Because that was very inconspicuous and didn't have anything to do with Days. So I thought that was more cute than If you don't know, it's her middle name was Mia Sarah, who is the character that she is based on from Ferris Bueller. So I thought that was cute that they.
I want to know how they're getting away with using a character name from like wouldn't that be part of the film's like?
No,
Copyright?
not if
wouldn't that character
you don't use the full name.
Michael wants to finish.
The character's name is Sloane Peterson. Wouldn't that character name be subject to like some kind of copyright protection as an original character in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Only if you use the characterization of the character, not the name. The name isn't protected.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if she were a high school student that kept saying my old boyfriend is Ferris and I used to live in Chicago, that would be copyright. But her just having the name, because lots of people
name alone,
yeah, the name alone isn't enough. But
interesting.
It's the characterization, yeah.
We're not lawyers, but we've had to learn this stuff because we've had to learn this stuff. You don't know how badly we don't want to have to know this stuff, but we have to know this stuff sometimes.
I was quickly Googling it to see. Fictional character can certainly be protected, even apart from the work.
You have to actually go through the process of copywriting, though. Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're safe. Safe.
I mean, they've been using it this long. Obviously, they did their due diligence. They're not just going to do things haphazardly. I'm just curious. Just something I was curious about.
Yeah.
Wait, is her full name Sloane Mia Sarah Peterson?
Yeah.
People can have more than one middle name.
No, it's just funny because that's also one of the production people's names is Sarah Peterson. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, anywho's it's There's a lot with this storyline. What?
Oh no, I did know what you were doing.
I'm just waiting for the follow up to that reaction.
I mean, we haven't seen. I mean, okay. Here's the thing: we really don't have much to talk about because this is new. This is new. We have,
but yet another example of somebody, not even a resident who's been in town, being handed a job.
I think over the past few weeks we've gotten that you can just go anywhere and get handed a job. Like Michael Mattis, where do you want to work in Salem?
I want to work at the Spectator.
Done.
Great. I'll start tomorrow.
Perfect. Araceli, where do you want to work?
Unemployment rate is 0% in this town.
Sweet Bits, hired. Done. Start tomorrow. Justin, where do you want to work?
I'd say the Salem Inn is probably the most protected job because I don't want to work for Demira. I don't want to work for Titan. I don't want to work.
I know. Notice none of us said.
I want to work the front desk at the Salem Inn.
You get some good tea at the Salem Inn too.
Done.
I understand job stability, folks.
I'm going to work at Black Patch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an adventure there. As long as there will always be cheating spouses, you will always have a job.
There. You know what? Actually, I'm going to work two jobs: Black Patch and Basic Black. Done.
As long as you're okay with not knowing who owns the company.
Perfectly fine.
Who your bosses are.
Listen, whoever replies to the email, I will just always put to whom it may concern. Whoever replies back that week is the person that's concerned with it. Oh, that's nice. We all have jobs. Basic. Well, I'm gonna go with Basic Black because I'm not trying to go on adventures. Basic Black, Salem Spectator, Sweet Bits, and the Salem Inn. Actually, and really, out of all of them, the Salem Inn is probably the best because you're gonna find out all the tea. Because everybody talks right in Horton Town Square. Everybody lives at the Salem Inn. Everybody's in and out. You're on to something.
He's like that. He's gonna be like that scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure in the end where Pee-wee's movie is made and he plays the concierge and he's like, like the two actors. He's like listening to what they say. That's what.
Now wait a minute. Not Tyler up here with the read. Tony put the basic in basic black. You mean I put the black in basic black?
Look, your black patch was all set for you. It was ready to go.
Yeah, and then I decided to quit and then move over. You know what? I'm gonna put that as another thing on Instagram. If you were a Salem resident, where would you want to work? If you were, where would you want to work? Okay, got it.
Price
Okay,
Town. Whoops. Gotta go to the next town over.
So keeping on with the Everett, Stephanie, Chad storyline, I feel like obviously with any new character, there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of hinting around, but there's a lot of unknown. He comes at the right time because all of a sudden everyone's kind of pressuring Chad and Stephanie to be married. Mm-hmm. Even when Nicole was like, well, you know, you got to remember that when you get married, and Chad's like, and it's like, why does everyone bring it up? Man, like, can't leave them folks alone?
Yeah.
And then now Stephanie, you know, feeling, you know, her kind of way about the relationship, because obviously this is the biggest like fight that they've had.
Yeah.
Regarding that. So
it has nothing to do with Alex.
Nothing to do with Alex this
Thanks.
time. I mean, he takes that shirt off, and we're all in trouble.
On the bright side, it does kind of. I'm so happy that part of their relationship is over and done with, so I can be happy for that.
I mean, they both have good points, and I think they've both been like checked on their points too. Especially with Everett when he said what we're all thinking to Stephanie. He's like, "Why would you move in with a man who has children?" And then like she quickly like brushed it off, or was like, my bad, or that was my fault, or I was keeping hope alive, or something like that. And then she had his conversations with Kate, which I thought were interesting. And it's not like there's a bad guy here kind of a thing. It's one of those like it's two people who aren't on the same path. Yeah.
Just need to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, those were your top storylines on Days of Our Lives. And before we get into tidbits, we just want to tidbitally remind you of the following. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Dishin Days Show, Dishin Days on Instagram, X, Twitter, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and take us on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and all your other favorite stations. Also, make sure you head over to dishindays.threadless.com, buy yourself some merch, and also show some love to JLJ Media on YouTube. And now, the tidbit we've all been waiting for, the Halloween episode.
Raise your hand if you loved it. And
I mean, here's the thing. In comparison to years before, we all know that the Halloween episode is, you know, the kookiest, the you know, strangest, but it's still very engaging and still very, you know, interesting. I will say I did enjoy the Paulina Whitley moment.
That was cute. Yeah.
I like that, you know, they revisited Abe getting hit by the rolling pin, the role reversal, you know, of where are all these cats in our apartment?
And then at the very end, it did tickle me a little bit. I kind of rolled my eyes, but it did tickle me with the very end where they zoomed in
on
the stuffed cat, like the stuffed cat was going to do something. I was like, okay, that was funny.
Yeah. I love the fact that they did bring back Kim Coles. I really, 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 really wish that we got a chance to talk to Kim Coles. Because of the strike and everything like that, you know, we, you know, weren't sure if we could reach out and things like that. And then it's one of those things where it's like it's not timely, like she left, but then she came back this week, and I was like, oh, man, I actually wish that she was at Day of Days.
Yeah,
it would have been fun.
You know what would have
It
been
a
a great Halloween episode and a nod to that storyline would have been like a full episode of Body and Soul.
Oh, that would have been fun.
That I would have adored.
Yeah.
That would have been a great, because it didn't have to be like, it was a Halloween episode in that they weren't playing their true characters. They were. It didn't have to be like zombies and scary and spooky and all, but it would have been a cute like Halloween-ish episode. The thing like, yeah, Tony, you hit the nail on the head. This one just wasn't very engaging. Like the ones that stick out in my head are like the ones where like when Marlena was, I think Gabi mentioned this in an episode this week that when like the zombies came back,
that was the like, best.
That was such a great episode, and I was like, these performances are actually like, I hope everyone's using these on their Emmy reel.
It was because amazing.
It was such a great episode. Or the one where I think it was Deidre was playing Hattie, and she would hypnotize people by stirring tea.
Oh yeah.
It was just like so silly.
Yeah.
You know, this one, you know, and I give them kudos to, you know, doing something for Halloween and doing something a little out there.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it was a great idea in concept, taking people's nightmares and bringing them onto the screen, but it just didn't land.
And I mean, in the Chad and Stephanie one, I literally thought he was going to open the door and Abigail was going to be standing there.
I did too.
I was bracing myself for that, and I would have loved that. But it was like, you know, the lights would go off, and you know, Steve was on the ground, and then the lights went out again, and then it was Kayla, and they were like holding hands, and then Stephanie was just like,
It was
Abigail. And I wanted to be like, well, you were the one
where she at?
You were the one that came over with the diary plan, and then Kayla came in with it, and then all of a sudden Steve was like, we're missing these pages. And I'm like, y'all didn't read it beforehand? Like, what was
I felt like having Marcy, I too, Tony, I thought it was gonna open, it was gonna be Marcy, like they got her back for the one episode to play. That would have actually made the episode interesting, or made that storyline interesting. So I'm Or I thought it was going to be, what's her name? God, why am I forgetting her name? Before
Kate?
Marcy. Kate Manzi. I thought maybe they'd get Kate, if not Marcy.
General Hospital probably said nope. Sorry.
Nope. But
as much as the soap. Wow. As much as the soaps share actors nowadays, I'm guessing they probably put because Wally does both, so why couldn't Kate? But or maybe she didn't want to do it. Maybe she wasn't in town.
Wally's a major exception.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. Okay. Can I just say, I cackled during the whole Johnny Chanel Holly one, because when whoever was at the door that slashed Holly was the size of Tate.
Well, yeah.
When Holly got bandaged up and turned around, and the camera zoomed in on this, like, what is Raven, like 5'2"?
Yeah.
I was like, there is a clear height difference. Yeah. But what I will say, kudos to Raven. Because when she took off that mask and her hair was just like pulled back, and I was like, now listen, if you're gonna be the reveal, baby, give a reveal, honey. Because she was, the face card never declines. My God. I said, you better look snatched. She said, listen, y'all may have me up in this mask, but baby, when this mask comes off, the face is going to be sitting.
Yeah. No, but you could tell even in the mask. If you look at that scene with her in the mask, I was looking at her eyes and I was like, oh my gosh.
But and when she had the knife and she was just kind of looking, I was like, yeah, you got a little touch of crazy in you, but this face, honey, this face is serving. She was serving during Halloween. Somebody clip that and send that to Raven. Clip that whole just send it to Raven.
So there were bits and pieces that were like, okay, these people should be in a Halloween episode, because a Halloween episode is supposed to be fun for the audience to watch. But the storylines themselves just didn't land.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They had to kill poor Eric.
Like, why?
Also my question is, who played the zombie?
Oh, the one zombie who was
one zombie?
I was like, come on, you could get one extra person to help out when do the hands on the wall.
Imagine if they asked Eric Martsolf. Hey, want to play a zombie today? Sure.
Oh God.
I just want to know who that person was. Who put this on their acting reel and said, "Zombie number one, right there, me." Interesting. I mean,
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine, yeah.
And everyone just woke up from a bad dream.
Yeah.
With
their
the exception of the one cat.
Yeah.
Well, also poor Holly, she still woke up to a nightmare, because when she woke up out of the nightmare, she woke up into another one with Chanel and Johnny kissing. She said, and they were just over there.
They were at it.
Yes.
We don't see makeouts like that on the show anymore.
They were like,
I guess maybe we never did. I don't know.
It's been it's COVID kind of kept it for a while. Tony, please never do that again.
Do what?
Oh my gosh.
I can't even listen to it. Like, the noise of it.
Okay, so Araceli hates the "hello, Araceli" kind of voice, and then Michael Madis hates the. Got it.
Nope, can't do it.
All right. Well, that was your week of days. Of course, if you weren't able to watch us live, leave your comments down below on what you thought. We may not reply to them, but we do read them. But now let's get into our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Now listen, Michelle Obama famously said, "When they go low, we go high." But Blake Berris from Real Housewives of Atlanta said, "When they go low, I go lower." And there was no perfect example than this. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. Should have told Michael Madden that was my 3 snaps. It's okay.
Where is it? Where is it?
What is it?
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Well, right now it's uploading again.
Oh.
Because I was doing my due diligence and uploading it before, and then I think you thought it was an old clip, and so you just took it off. But it's okay, because right now it's in the process, and I'm just gonna say it one more time. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Blake Berris said, when they go low, we go lower. And there was no perfect example than this.
Oh, but she is, EJ. She's my wife. She's a scheming bitch. And you're the idiot she has wrapped around her gold-digging little finger. How ashamed father would be to know that you're commingling with such inferior stock. Says the product of father taking a turkey baster to an unhinged Elvis fanatic.
Okay, dialogue like that used to be like a daily thing, and I remember watching that scene this week and being like, I think I rewound it because I was like, wait, what did they say?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, oh, like those moments where you're just like, oh shit, like that kind of dialogue just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Which is why Brandon Barrage and whoever wrote that gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award, because I was like, not the turkey baster, not the Elvis fanatic. Oh,
well, even EJ, like the lines Dan had about like this is such inferior stock. I was like, ooh, okay, good,
listen,
nice.
Y'all know I love I love a good shady moment, and when I tell you that was shady,
those were reads.
And I love them. And that's why it gets Tony's 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right. And now it's time for
Caption that.
All right, not much of a read here. However, this week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Greg Vaughn, looking like a zombie himself, running from an alleged zombie. And this week's caption goes to Tam O'Driscoll, Tam Lizanne 25 on Twitter, saying, "Run, Hurricane Sammy is coming."
I have to say, this is the one part that I liked about that plot when he just came through, and I was like, "Oh, like you never see him animated, so that was
no, you don't. He's very like low key.
But look how calmly Sloan looks.
Yeah, right. I know.
Like, can you look? Okay, now I don't know about y'all, but if one of y'all came around the corner looking like that, I'm not gonna look like Sloan did. Like, I'm gonna look like that too.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna ask you,
where we going? What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah. We don't even do that. No one knows what's.
Yep.
You just start running with them.
Yeah. You don't ask questions until you get to what happened, and then it could be, oh no, they just closed.
Yeah, and really remember that there's actually a very specific scene from General Hospital where Christina Yang spots someone she knows, ends up being Owen Hunt. And without explanation, mid sentence, just grabs Meredith and says, "Run!" And then they just run all the way through the ER. But not till they round the corner does she say, What happened? That is how you need to do it.
Or it could be like a scary movie with Brenda being like, "Why you bring that over here?" And that was
Caption that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
Oh, speaking of.
Oh yeah, take you back to October 30th, 2015, where Allison Sweeney ended her 22-year run as Sammy Brady. This was a time for Days. There was a lot of speculation going on about even the fate of Days with her leaving it. It was one of those, is this the reason to now get rid of the show? Is this the catalyst now she's leaving? Who's going to take her place? Who are they going to elevate to star of the show? Because she was, without a doubt, a star for probably the last 10, 12 years of the show. And even before that, a strong supporting player, if not having a front burner story all through most of those 22 years. So, yeah. And again, she's come back for little storylines here and there, but her presence is still felt and missed on the show. And this was one character they haven't not even replaced or even attempted to replace or slide someone else in there. So just hats off to Allison Sweeney to be able to pull that off and to still be young enough to go on and have multiple careers and to still come back to Days. I like that it's not, I'm above soap operas, I'll never do it. It's always, I'll come back when they need me. I'm sure she's headed her way back there. We'll see her in the next couple years, just with the anniversaries and stuff. But yeah, so October 30th, 2015, Allison Sweeney left and did a 22-year run.
And that was
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to Miss Paulina Price. And one of the best horror faces I've seen in a long time. And
She looked
begs
in
the
the
question, why isn't Jackie Harry in more horror films?
It's the last millisecond. Yeah.
Put her in more.
Jackie.
Love it. And that was
It's a gift.
And now it's time for
News and gossip.
And we are starting off with very, very, very somber news here. For those who have been living in a cave, you may miss the news that Days veteran and General Hospital veteran Tyler Christopher passed away this past week. News of his death was reported by his former GH co-star, Maurice Bernard, who reported that the actor died at his apartment in San Diego of a cardiac event. He was 50 years old. Condolences have been pouring out from the daytime community, from those who worked with him on Days and GH, sometimes both shows. His on-screen father / uncle, Stephen Nichols, who we have as our patch on Days of Our Lives, posted a beautiful tribute to him, tributes from Kate Manzi, from Maurice Bernard, from Kimberly McCulloch, have been pouring out. Please go to Instagram, and I know Twitter users repost their condolences, and so that nobody misses them. It's a big loss for daytime. It's a big loss for General Hospital family in particular. And I just want to say, if you or anyone you know is suffering from mental health or substance abuse issues, please know that there is a national hotline. Dial 988. There's just, as we have a 911, we now have a 988 for mental health emergencies. Please call that number, spread that number around. Make sure that you know it, that you spread it to those you love. And on a lighter note, Justin has some, while there's death coming out of it, we have new life coming in as well.
So Billy Flynn and his wife, Gina Comparetto, they announced that they are expecting their second child. So big congratulations to them. And they did it in a really cute way. As you see, they're dressed up as the characters from Wes Anderson's The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, with Billy playing the Bill Murray character and Gina playing the Kate Blanchett character. And they dubbed over, I think, the dialogue in that scene to reveal that they are, in fact, pregnant with their second child. So big congratulations to them. Yeah. And the baby's due, I believe, this year. So, a little bit after Christmas. So, so yeah, big congrats to them.
Lots of Days babies this year. That makes me happy. Yeah.
And coming up, we have a new edition of Beat the Hourglass, this time with friends Eli Cantu and Galen Gehring. It's on the Days of Our Lives YouTube page, so go check that out. Both segments are up. Galen interviewing Eli interviewing Galen. Again, they have tremendous chemistry, and you see that on display here. You can also see it when you go to our YouTube page and check out Araceli's interview with them. To go see that, yes, chemistry on display and in full force. So yeah, another edition of Beat the Hourglass with those two. So go check it out.
Yes. And we have some Spectrum celebrity events coming up. Mark your calendars for the new year. Saturday, March 23rd, 2024 in National Harbor, Maryland. We have the Daytime Pride 24 event with Young and the Restless Cameron Grimes and Kate Fairbanks, and Days of Our Lives Mike Manning and Colton Little, hosted by our very own Tony Moore. Go to SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com for tickets and details. Also, there will be a VIP dinner in Orlando with Days veteran Freddie Smith. This is for gold members only. That will be Saturday, February 24th, 2024. Tickets are limited to 12 members, so if you really want to go and see Freddie, get on that now. SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com.
Yes, and Peter Porte, as we told you before, is still doing his fundraiser. He's teamed up with the Covenant House, and it's a nonprofit organization that does helps combat homelessness for LGBTQIA youth. He is doing a sleep out, which he is giving up a night in his bed out of solidarity. His fundraising goal is about $5,000. I checked this morning, and it's a little close to $1,600. So if you have a little bit extra to give or looking for a charity or a good cause to support, please go to this one and support. You can find all information on Peter's socials.
And if you are in the Southern California area, Days of Our Lives zone, Ken Corday has produced his own show called Songs Without Words. It's a piano concert series. It's also a benefit concert for the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. It's basically a collection of his individual works, and it's going to be at the Gary Marshall Theater in Burbank, California. And upcoming dates are November 8th and 11th at 8 p.m. You can go to the GaryMarshallTheater.org website for tickets.
And in addition to that, last night was the opening of it, and it was attended by many fellow Days people such as Deidre Hall and former EP Greg Ming and Jackie Harry, Greg Rickard, Peter Port, Richard from Wardrobe. They all attended. So, and Marnie, who's the casting director, was there as well. So a lot of love has already been and support has been shown to Ken's performances. So you guys have a few more chances to see it. So if you're in the area, go check it out.
And last but not least, we have a new event for Star Trek fan events happening next year, April 13th to 14th, 2024 in Hasbrook. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. We have Stacey Haiduk. We have Ari Zucker. It's an interesting picture. Eric Martzov, Peter Porte, Emily O'Brien, and Paul Telfer. All tickets and information, you can go to StarTrekFanEvents.com.
Oh, that was the one that she posted
Recently.
against the wall on her Instagram.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. I guess it
Yeah.
is. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing her as herself with the longer hair, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a second, I was like, is that what's in it? I thought it was someone else for a second.
We all remember that pose.
Yes.
All right. Now let's take a look at what's coming up this week on Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
Happy anniversary, my love.
We're starting soft,
Strawberry cream body butter.
then cranking it up to 11.
My wife didn't do this.
If that's true.
There is no if.
Morning, gorgeous.
He thinks he's still your boyfriend.
I just hired a new DA.
Here's Forge, my mother's signature.
Help me, Rafe! Honey, this war has just begun. Tell me who did this to you.
Days of Our Lives, streaming now on Peacock.
Well, happy anniversary days. This is going to be a good week.
It's a good way to kick off the anniversary week. Very good.
Yes. Which you all know, the anniversary of Days is coming this Wednesday, November 8th, when it first premiered back in 1965. So that's going to be a good one. All right. Well, y'all, that's it. That's Dishin Days for you. We will be back next Sunday to serve up a full undeadly dish of this coming week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. But before
we will not have a dish of body butter, though.
No strawberry body butter happening over here. Now, if you would like to purchase that on your own, you can. No judgment. But Michael Mattis, if someone wants to send you some strawberry body butter, where can they contact you?
Well, now that you said that, I don't want to tell them where they can do it. I don't want none.
You know,
find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLPaddles.
You don't want that or no Wrangler jeans?
Nope. Return to sender.
Justin Lee Hareld, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And you can find all of us on Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Thank you guys so much for watching another Dishin Days. We will be back next week where we're serving up a full dish of what's coming up this week on Peacock's Days of Our Lives. Until then, have a wonderful, happy, safe week and happy anniversary days. Ooh, we'll see y'all. Bye.